Go down and your eyes go blind. You got 1,000 people dancing and you still don't mind.
Look at you jumping along. Welcome to Life with Mary Walter. How are you, James? It's so good to have you back.
Hello, it's good to be back.
I have been missed you.
I've been a busy fella.
How's work going?
Actually, work's going really well. Yeah.
Good.
You know, it's different, but it's going well. Yeah.
Good. Good. That makes me happy. If you are new to the show, welcome. We'd love to have you. We're so glad that you're here. Please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. And also please like the videos, especially if you go back and watch some other ones. My aunt called me last night and like they're in their 80s, late 70s, early 80s, maybe a little bit older. And they're calling me at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, I didn't want to.
What are you doing up?
Well, why are you calling me now? And I was awake. I mean, I was folding laundry, so because I'm living the dream. And and they went off about one of the podcasts we did last Tuesday night. With all that, and they said we had to watch it again. You guys talk too fast. I was like, I'm sorry, we'll try to slow it down for you, but so they had to go back and watch it again. But they really, really liked it. So if you haven't seen it, go back. If you're going to YouTube, look for our radio and click on the live button because all the live broadcasts are there under the live button. Some are recorded, but This is live. So click on live and it's right there. It's like 2 or 3 in. It's with Jen Bukowski. So that was super, super interesting. So we appreciate you doing all that. We do have some new subscribers and I wanted to give you guys a shout out, but I can't because my husband's logged into my account upstairs. So and his account is logged in down here. So I can't see who our new subscribers are. But I promise you, I will give you a shout out on Thursday. How's that?
That sounds great.
Thursday is going to be a very fun show. And I don't know if James will be with us or not. We'll have to see how this goes.
Okay.
We could try it with you. I don't know, but we will be live from Florida. Not James, not both of us, just me. The IT department will be with me. What? Can you fix that for me? Oh, the IT department's here to fix it for me.
What do you want to do?
I want to get logged into my account so I can see who.
That one?
Yeah, there. Log out. Switch account. Okay, I got to add an account. So here, you do this.
Okay.
You do that. Thank you.
There.
I'm not there.
Doug on the spot, huh?
Yeah. So the IT department will be with me, and we will be at our neighbors who live here in New Jersey. Our backyards meet. They built a house in Florida like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And from what I've seen, it's gorgeous. And they're going down there for a month because he can work remotely. I guess this one. He can work remotely. And so they left last week and they said, hey, why don't you guys come down? And I said, oh, what do you need? And so so the IT department has off because he had his boards today and has had no life for the last 4 months. So he's actually off. And he said, here, go to this thing. Yeah. And so he's like, well, we could go. I said, okay. So we're going. So we leave Thursday. He wants tomorrow off to do nothing, which is cool. And we're going to wind up cleaning because, as you know, whenever we go somewhere, because I got 3 cats, we have a family member who comes and stays in the house because he can work remotely and he loves animals. So he takes care, like he spoils the heck out of the kids, and it's great. They love it because he's here all the time. Maybe he'll go out and grab dinner. Sometimes he brings a friend, whatever. But that means that I have to clean the house because I don't want him to think that it was abandoned. So, so before we go away every time, we're always like in a frenzy the day before, like cleaning the kitchen. I bring food in, actually the IT department just got back from Costco. So, yeah. So there's preparation that goes into it, because we don't pay him. I mean, he's still working for free and he gets to hang out here and he loves the cats, but, and we feed him and stock up the liquor for him and beer and things like that. So it's just a lot of prep. It's very crazy before we leave because of that. So because people are like, I can't believe you tell people you're going away. I'm like, my house is occupied
Right.
by sometimes two or more young men in their 30s. So I think I'm okay.
And in the 15 years I've known you, you've only by accident once said where you lived.
And I edited
Remember
out
that
of the
one
video.
time. And you edited
I
out of the
edited
video.
it out.
One
I did
time.
edit it out.
So you'll never know which one. And if you caught it, well, good luck.
Yeah, and I edited it out. So that's that. But anyway, so it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow because we're leaving Thursday morning at the only flight we could have gotten a later flight, but we're out. We leave like stupid early in the morning. So he's coming tomorrow to feed the cats on Thursday morning. So he's coming tomorrow night and get him settled and everything. And so we're leaving stupid early. When I say stupid early, I'm talking like 4 a.m. And I know we land at before 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we come home
I complain about working at 7.
I know. We Sunday, our flight Sunday morning. I didn't realize that it's crazy. Everybody's in Florida right now because it's Holy Week. So everybody went down there to visit grandparents, I guess, for Easter and Passover. And so we could get one flight on Sunday. That was it. And we have to be in the car to drive back to the airport at 4 a.m.
Oh.
So it's just a quick trip, a quick turnaround, and that's that. So, but it's good for him because then he could just leave and go home and be home at a decent hour on Sunday, and then go back to work on Monday. So that's that. So that's my exciting week. So the show will be from Florida with our neighbors who are insane and crazy political and hilarious. So nice. Depending on how we feel, we may be live from the hot tub or maybe from the pool. Not 100% sure if the world is ready for that.
I don't know. That'd be a pretty good show. Politics in the hot tub? I don't know. That's a new angle.
That's very true. So we'll see. So that's Thursday's show. Should be a lot of fun. So please join us. Okay, new subscriber Boyd has joined us. Let's see. Dawn has joined us. Teresa, watching your back, who I know who that is. That's their obviously not their real name. Let's see. Mystery Girl joined us. James and Gregory. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. We super appreciate you.
I'm gonna bet that my buddy Frank from work is listening in too. And if you are, hey buddy.
Hi Frank, how are you? Oh, and you're making
just learned about
work. Good for you.
Turns out. Yeah. My buddy, I call him the mayor. My buddy who's, if you heard the intro, the guy who's singing and playing keyboards on the intro is my buddy Jeff, who works there. And he's like the mayor of that place. I mean, I can't go into an apartment or even in the medical side, a nurse, the people in my department, anywhere. I just say, Jeff, the guy, oh, Jeff plays piano. Yeah. He's like the mayor. He walks in. It's like Norm from Cheers. Jeff, I love him. He's a good dude. So,
that'll be you too. That'll be you as well. That's
I'm riding his coattails. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Why not?
Did he get you the job?
He did. He's the one that got me in. Yep.
All right. Good. Okay, so let's go and see who is in. This is a tradition. Everybody wants to get in to see who's in first. They're hilarious. And this week is Ron at 7:01, followed by Al at 7:02. Sorry, Al. Pete, only have time to say hello. Hello, Pete. Pete is amazing. Pete,
hey, buddy.
Pete sends me tons of topics for both shows. So Pete is unbelievable. And before I forget, thank you to Evie, who does all of the graphics for social media, for when we have special guests, like when we had Sean Spicer, he did special media for us, special graphics. So thank you. And his son, Zach, mwah, love you, Zach. You're the best. He's fantastic. He watches our videos over and over. So thank you. Appreciate that. Bill is here as well. Pete says, finally a show about me, fat men.
That
Your
was my
video,
nickname for years, man.
and Bill says your video is choking a bit. So I didn't know that. Tina says, a show about James, all gut, no butt. And Al is moving to Port Richey, Florida tomorrow. All right,
That's
Al.
right. I
Look
saw
at
that, Al.
you.
Congratulations.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. So do you want to start off with fat men, a bus driver who lost their crap on obnoxious kids, or planning your own funeral? What would you like
My
to start
nickname
with?
is spelled PHATTQ, which is fat with a silent Q. So I will take fat people for the win.
Okay. So studies have shown that obesity is a bigger problem for men than it is for women. So it's more of a health problem for men than it is for women.
So what's the theory there? I'd be curious what that is. How?
Well, thank you for asking. Let me tell you. They say men are more likely to develop health issues related to obesity, such as cardiovascular disease, insulin resistance, and diabetes. The lead study author is a professor named Tara Haas, and this comes out of Canada. She's with York University in Canada at the Faculty of Health's School of Kinesiology and Health Science.
Okay.
So she and her team observed during an earlier study that when mice develop obesity, the female rodents tend to grow significantly more new blood vessels for providing the expanding fat tissue with adequate oxygen levels and nutrients. Males, on the other hand, grow fewer blood vessels in response to obesity. Now, think about that. It kind of makes sense because when a woman gets pregnant, right, everything expands. So it would make sense that her body would be more prone, I guess, to, I don't know if that's like a really like a working theory. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but that's what went through my brain when I read, right? Like that's where my brain went. And I wonder if this is why women, I wonder if this is why women have a harder time losing weight than men do.
Because it's not so bad for them to keep it. Like, because
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be part of the like the nesting sort of the way if we are in a more primal state, right? Men are the hunter gatherers, and women would have been more of the, you know,
well, men are the hunters. Women are the gatherers. Men are the hunters. Right. Right. Well,
so you're gathering and snacking, and it's fine because you're.
Well, I don't know if people snack as they go along like they do today in the nut aisle, but
good point.
You ever see those people? They're eating
grazing. We got a grazer.
Yeah, they're picking at the grapes, you know. The other thing I was thinking is, well, you know, like think about it. If you're the body and you go through all this work and expand all this energy to put new blood vessels and everything into your expanding girth, like, don't you think, well, heck, that was a really hard job. I'm not giving it up that easy.
Right. No, your body's like, I got this protector here now. I want to keep it.
Yeah, I just don't know if the body's vindictive the way I am, but I don't know. It's a working theory for me.
So, what would be the real health? What would be the real health or downside for, let's say, a woman like Lizzo, right? Who's active, who's you know, if anybody doesn't know who Lizzo is, she's a popular musician who's made it a thing about being a big girl and being okay with it. So she gets a lot of flack for that. That she's, you know, the reason why you know women are unhealthy, or you know, she gets a lot of flack. But if it's not so bad for women, is there really a downside?
No, I mean it's still bad, but I guess it doesn't contribute as much for women as it does for men. Listen, right now Lizzo's young, but she's putting strain on her heart every single day. She's putting a strain on all of her joints every single day. Right now, it's not bothering her. But I'm willing to bet that when she turns 50, maybe even into her late 40s, she's going to start to have problems where she may not have had those problems until her 60s.
Right. She may appreciate the sugar-free aisle a lot more later in life.
But she's doing damage every day by putting that strain on her heart. And putting the weight on her knees and on her ankles and her hips and everything else. Her body has to work so much harder. Her heart has to work so much harder to carry all of that. The accumulation of fat around her liver, visceral fat in the middle, is really bad, and that's where
fatty liver's bad. Yeah.
She carries it all over, but she could be, right now contributing to a fatty liver, right?
Mm-hmm.
She, fat around her heart, etc. I watch my 600-pound life.
Oof.
I see what they do, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of those people who are in their 30s can't move. I mean, she can still move and everything, and that's great, but that doesn't mean that she's not doing damage.
Right. Right. Just
go ahead.
I would say at least not as much, like you said, as it contributes to men's health in life. But like you said, the things that it's affecting everybody would be the joints, right? I mean, I know just from my time of being a pretty substantially tubby person, I mean, my knees aren't great now. All my joints are angry at me. I probably would have handled my back problems better had I been thinner, long ago when people were screaming that to me.
Well, think about
now,
it.
50, my back is a disaster. If I had just 10 years ago been better.
James, you're carrying your weight in front of you like a pregnant woman. And what do they always complain about? Oh, my back, because you're pulling your spine forward and the lower part. So of course it hurts you.
Yeah.
You really should be doing exercises to strengthen your stomach muscles, to strengthen your abdomen. It really does work. The IT department has had back problems in the past.
Right.
And it's kind of familial, kind of runs in the family, but he gets up and stretches every single morning. Just three stretches that he does, and he works out every day, and he has worked super hard to strengthen his core.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have nearly the amount of problems, the frequency of problems that he used to have with his back. And he's thin, but he had no muscles. Like, he didn't have the muscles that he has now in his stomach.
I didn't mean to silently laugh because there's nothing funny about what you said about Doug. What made me laugh was because I just told this story. Tiny aside, I got to interview Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead, right, when I was working in radio, and I told him about the same story. I told him that the show I went to, obviously, that he was at, and he had this amazing story. He remembered the date of the show. It was at RFK. He remembered a bunch of particulars. And the funny thing was when he was about to leave, his handler was like, "Hey, man, we got to go." He's like, "Hold on, I'm telling a story." I'm like, he's the greatest guy ever. So he goes, him and Jerry Garcia are in a little trailer, and this is like 93. So there's no internet. There's none of that stuff. So there's just the two of them in a trailer smoking a joint. And I went to that show because I wanted to see Sting, who was opening, right? And if anybody knows anything about Sting, he's a big yoga guy. So they said their entertainment, their TV was, he'll never forget this day. He said it was 97 degrees. And Sting is out on a mat in a banana hammock, those little tiny bathing suits, right?
Oh, yes,
right?
I can see it.
Out in the sun, like not under a tent, like out in the raging hot sun in a banana hammock doing yoga. And he said that was their entertainment for like an hour. I was just sitting there smoking a joint, watching him do yoga in the hot sun. So when you said Doug doing stretching, I instantly just thought of Doug now in a banana hammock doing yoga. And I'm like, that's not the site I needed. But
God, no.
That's not the IT site.
Yeah, no, but he does do yoga, he does Pilates, and I'll tell you, when he first started doing it, he couldn't touch his toes. Now he can touch his toes. He's, it definitely benefits you, especially we're all getting older, and I really think that's a big deal. Ringo says, "I feel attacked. I eat the grapes." Yeah, that's stealing from the store. Just saying, that's literal theft.
She might just be eating the pound of food in line on the way to pay.
But then when they weigh it, it weighs less.
Oh, look at you, Ringo. Hey, she got you good. I'll pay for that later. Don't worry.
That's theft.
It is. Crazy.
She also says, "I've started not being able to see because of my blood sugar. I remember it not mattering and I being able to eat anything and everything, kind of like grapes, which are full of sugar." Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She hasn't had grapes lately. You're safe.
But she's young, and that's bad if it's affecting her eyesight so young. That's really, really bad. Really bad. So hopefully between the two of you, you guys get healthy. It'll be great. So, all right.
We have no sugar in the house now.
Good.
You should be very proud. We literally have none.
I am proud of you guys. Yeah. You guys maybe straighten each other out. This is great. Do it together. It's so much easier, right? When you do it together.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
100%. All right. So here's what they said. They said, all right, so males grow fewer blood vessels in response to obesity. They eventually zeroed in on the specific genes linked to blood vessel growth, and this led to the discovery that processes associated with the proliferation of new blood vessels appear higher in female mice. Male mice displayed signs of processes associated with inflammation. And inflammation is what kills you. Inflammation is what gives you arthritis. It's what affects your heart. It's a ton of stuff. And some people just genetically have more inflammation, right? Like some people just are genetically prone to that. Some people, it's like some people are, I have high cholesterol. And had been going to a cardiologist, and he was like, okay, we got to work on the cholesterol, and I said, all right, well, I kind of eat pretty good. So I went on for 6 months. I worked on eating I would have 1, 2, maybe 2 grams of fat a day. Like I was eating food that was so dry. If you couldn't light it on fire, I didn't eat it. Right. And my cholesterol plummeted. Well, because my thyroid went crazy, and that's why my cholesterol plummeted. Like that's why it happened. When we straightened my thyroid out, my cholesterol went right back up. Yeah. And he just looked at me. He goes, "Oh, you can eat anything you want because it's just the way that's just it. Like it's not controlled by diet. My mom has super high cholesterol. It's just the way it is." So he's like, yeah, eat whatever you want. So some people just have genetic, you're just genetically set a little bit more. Yep. So they say, all right, they said when we take these cells out of the body where they don't have sex hormones circulating in them, like for male and female circulating in them, or any other kinds of factors, these male and female cells still behave differently from each other. These fat cells, they're called endothelial cells, these fat cells still behave differently, even when they don't have the sex hormones going through them. So technically they shouldn't know whether they're in a male body or a female body, but they still behave differently. Female cells were observed replicating faster, but the male cells displayed greater sensitivity to inflammation. So in other words, guys, obesity will kill you sooner. That's basically what we come down to here. It's the crux of the story. You all right with that?
Oh, there you are.
Are you there? What happened?
No, actually, I was about to tell you, you seem like you're wonky for a minute. Unless it's me. Really?
And you froze to me. So I wonder who it is, because you froze to me. So I don't know what's happening. All right. Well,
I'll log out first. Let's see if it's me.
Well, all right. See if it's you, and then I'll log out and see if it's me. All right. How's that? All right.
Got it.
I'll
be right back.
All right. Bye. Yeah. I don't know. He froze up to me, so I have no idea what is going on. Okay. Let's see. Let's do the bus driver. All right, so let's do obnoxious kids, shall we? Obnoxious brats. So there is a bus driver in Ohio. Her name is Jackie Miller. And I want to know if you think this woman should get her job back. Now, she resigned. She's like, I'm out. She resigned. So she's a bus driver. And then 2 weeks ago, she went ape on the kids. All right. She went off on them. And one of the kids, of course, has a camera, cell phone, and was recording the whole thing. And this woman, she was using obscenities, which I do not think is appropriate for an adult to do that to kids. Like, I totally don't think that that's appropriate. He's back. All right. Yay.
I'm back.
You're actually clearer. So.
Huh.
I don't know why. So, all right. So we're talking about this bus driver, this female bus driver. She's an older woman. She drives a bus in Ohio for kids, and they look like they were probably like middle school kids, which are the worst kids on the face of the planet. Middle school kids are horrendous, horrible beings. And she was caught, and it went viral on social media because the kids, somebody was taping it. And she said, I'm sorry for the way this went down. I truly am. I do apologize for my actions, but I won't take back what I said. I won't take it back. So she said on that day, a core group of students had acted out the minute they got on the bus. And she claimed that one of them had sprayed perfume in the bus.
Okay.
But it gave her a horrible asthma attack. I had to stop the bus, grab my inhaler, try to get my lungs to open up. I had all the kids open up the window. They know that this is a problem. So they know that. So this kid did this knowing what the result was going to be.
Right.
So did it on purpose. All right. The incident sent her over the edge. God damn it. How much more do you expect me to effing take? She could be heard saying on the video. I'm sick of all this S. I'm done with it. I'm going to start kicking some effing serious A. Do you hear me? My foot's going to be so far up your goddamn A, it's going to dangle out your goddamn nose.
I'd give her a medal. That's the funniest brand I've heard in a long time.
And she's like walking up and down the aisle screaming at the kids. They're like, right?
Like Arlie Army yeah. Oh, like Arlie Army in Full Metal Jacket. That's great. Just screaming out like a drill sergeant. Oh, that's great.
Yep. Which, you know what? These kids probably needed that. They probably absolutely needed that. And so she resigned rather than have her, which she should have made them fire her, but they would have fired her with cause, so she wouldn't have gotten anything anyway, but she could have probably gotten unemployment. But she resigned because she refuses to take any of it back. And she said, I lost it. I shouldn't have lost it. But driving a school bus, you are a special kind of warrior, I think, if you drive a school bus. That's number one, because kids are just obnoxious as hell. Especially a middle school bus, at least like the little kids, you could pretty much own them, right? High schoolers, terrible. I remember once on our bus, the kids in the back did something. And I think they opened up the back door, that emergency exit door. And I think that's what happened. And so we get to the school and the bus driver's like, nobody gets off this bus. And she went in and we're like, okay, we all die. So some kids, of course, bolted. Do you know, and this was high school, the principal, every single one of us, and we had 3 principals. We had a principal, vice principal, and assistant principal. And I had never been in the office ever, because that's me. I mean, I was in the outer office to talk to the ladies for copies and things like that, but I had never been like in the hallows of their offices, you know, the big 3, as we used to call them. Tartasico and Petronella, still remember their last names. The 3 of them could walk into the cafeteria, because our cafeterias were sunken. So you come in at the top and then you walk down these stairs. If they would walk in, stand in that top area like this, just looking at the cafeteria, and a hush of death would just descend on the whole, like everybody just be like, right? So they were all former military.
Oh yeah, so they had that, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
so they had the look. But every single person who rides that bus was called into one of the big 3's office, sat down and said, what happened? And I want names. You're like,
right.
So of course we gave up exactly who it was. Totally gave it up. Everybody. Because if we didn't, we were told, if you don't tell us who it is, if we don't find out who it was, every single one of you is banned from the bus for a month and your parent has to drive you.
Oh, can you imagine getting that letter?
My mother would have made me walk, and it was 2 miles, right? And it was on the other side of like my mother would have made my ass walk. Like if we ever got detention, she was like, "You're walking. I'm not coming to pick you up. That's it." So,
right.
So I guess I can confess, you know, X number of years later, that I totally gave up the guys in the back.
Everybody did. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody gave him up. Wait, here's Jerry, especially Mr. Tart. He was fearful. Jerry, was he the Marine? Because one of them had a picture, whoever's office I was in had a picture of JFK on the wall. And one of them and had like some military like flags or stuff, something in his office. I vividly remember that. And I just remember sitting. It was the only time I was ever in one of their offices. And I was ready to wet my pants. I was so scared. Because I knew that if my parents ever found out, so I went home and immediately told them, because I'm like, what if they send a letter home? So I'm going to go home and tell them immediately. And I'm going to nip this in the bud right away.
Wise.
Yeah, Jerry, was Mr. Tart the one who was the Marine? I think they were all military. One of them was a Marine, though. At least that was the going rumor.
Right.
I don't remember.
He's killed before.
Should she have lost her job?
So, I mean, you know, in a modern world, she's definitely going to lose her job. But I mean, I could think of some horrible things teachers and bus drivers said back in my day that they got away with, because you could get away with yelling at kids. And, you know, if you let a little a-hole slip out once in a while, you know, there wasn't a town meeting about it.
No, there was not.
Wasn't. I mean,
yeah.
Not that there was viral videos either. So, you know, there's always what were you exaggerating that story mentality of what the teacher said? Do you even know we all heard it? You know, our parents would have believed that the teachers and the bus drivers more than they'd have believed us. So before viral videos, you could kind of get away with being pretty colorful because nobody could prove what you said.
Well, no, but I think also you couldn't because the kids would all stick together and tell the same story, then you know what happened. But I think also back in the day, the immediate question that was asked was like, well, what did you do?
Right. Oh, 100%. Like I said, my parents would have backed the teachers and the bus drivers no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah. No matter
exactly.
what. Yeah.
And that's that. I think that's the difference today. Like if this happened, if I was a kid on this bus and this video goes out there and it goes viral and everything, my mother would have been if I was on that bus, my parents would have sat me down and go, okay, what happened? And then of course I would tell them what happened because I'm that kid. And I would have told them exactly what happened because I would never be the one to do that. And then my parents would have been like, okay, her reaction was probably a little over the top, but you children are obnoxious and you all deserve getting yelled at. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong, but you have to understand why she did what she did or said what she said and blah, 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 blah. And that would have been it. And they would have backed the bus driver and you're lucky you didn't get kicked off. And that's it.
I've told that story about the teacher that embarrassed me a few times really hard when I was in marching band because I basically just mouthed off and said, like, you don't understand how to play. And he took the drum. By the way, a saxophone player took the drum away from me, read it off what's called the conductor score, which is every single part. He's reading like the tiniest little thing, flipping pages, conducting the band, playing my part dead on perfectly, and then throws the drum back to me. He's like, good job, Ringo. Try effing harder, Ringo. You know, I'm like, okay. And like, I couldn't live that down. I mean, I couldn't live that down for a couple of years. Like, I was Ringo from that point out. I mean, you know, every kid and everything told that story. I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
And you learned a lesson.
Can you imagine though if that got a viral video of that? He'd get fired today. Definitely get fired.
Of course. Yeah.
For embarrassing like that.
I think DeSico was military. Not sure. I was only in there once. If you remember the whole blue number 1, blue number 2 situation. Senior year. They were writing on the walls in the bathrooms, blue 1 and blue 2, with magic markers, with Sharpies that didn't come off. And yeah, but it was like everybody knew about it. Everybody talked about it. Our class also had an underground newspaper. Phil and Dwight, I'll just say their first names, put out the organ grinder. And
that's awesome.
it was all stuff about administration. It was all total just rumors but it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah. I was the whole blue number 1, blue number 2 situation. That was hilarious. Legends. Yes.
Yeah.
At least for our class, they were absolute legends. It was fleeting. Fame was fleeting and punishment was swift. But but famous for a short time. So there is a GoFundMe set up for her. It had raised it's close to $70,000, so she can retire. There is also a clothing line of shirts, sweaters, and hoodies, which sport one of her quotes around a school bus with $5 of each sale going to her because she doesn't have a job right now.
That's awesome. Well, you know.
Yeah. Jerry's 15 minutes of fame. Yes.
Yeah.
In Bridgewater Raritan Regional District High School East, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now a middle school. So that's that. Let's see. The GoFundMe organizer wrote, bus drivers, teachers, cafeteria workers, janitors, and school staff are the hardest working people and a huge influence on our children, yet they continue to be underpaid and underappreciated. Kids these days are out of control. No one is allowed to reprimand them in fear for losing their job. The organizer wrote that the fundraiser is to help her pay for some time off and for all the years of loyal, dedicated service. We applaud her for tolerating as much as she had, and we are on her team. #team bus driver. She said, there's no words to say how grateful I am. It restores your faith in humanity. And by the way, the kids were disciplined. So they were wrong.
They should have just given her hey, you got to retire. These are your outs. You can get fired or you can retire. They should have given her the
right.
option.
But
I don't think years of service.
I don't think she should have had to retire, and I don't think she should have been fired. I don't think it should have been either one. And I think she should have remained to drive the same kids because I think they would be absolutely afraid of her. And they'd be like, hello, Miss, hello. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for taking us, ma'am.
Look, I agree with you too. I don't think she should have been fired. especially if that's the only blemish on an entirely good career, right? If that's, I mean, I don't know, but it's just for a working assumption, assume this is it. That's a pretty harsh punishment. Like I said, they could have at worst made her retire, right? At best, just reprimanded her. Just been like, hey, don't do that ever again. Try not to speak that way to our kids when you know they have cameras. Thanks.
Yeah, again, I don't think the cameras are the problem. I think the parents are the problem, honestly. I don't think it's the kids, because camera or not, the parents should have defended the bus driver. What did you do?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure the school just doesn't want the perception that their bus drivers are screaming curse words at the children, right? In a world where people are worried about that kind of thing now. I mean, I'm not, but they are.
Right. Yeah. I just think the parents need to also toughen up as well. We had the same bus driver for 6 years, Mrs. Proctor. She had a daughter a year ahead of me in school. So she drove me for 2 years I walked in elementary school, grade school, and then 2 years as a middle schooler and 4 years as a high schooler. She was our driver. Quick. Okay. Moving on. I have 2 stories about death.
All right.
Great way to end the show with death. So here you go. Have you ever, and I think most people do, have you ever thought about your funeral?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I firmly believe, and there's a saying that I adhere to that I think is really right. The number of people who attend your funeral greatly depends on the weather. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Staunch supporters will go out like in a driving rain, in the mud and that kind of thing. If it's family, it's your grandmother, you got to go, that type of stuff. But the vast majority of people, if it's like a beach day, you live at the shore, are going to be like, can't make it, and they're just not going to go and hope that nobody notices, right? Or if it's a crummy day and you don't want to go out and it's kind of like March and it's raining and it's a cold that goes through you, you're like, they don't go.
Right.
So a lot of it depends on what time of year you die too, I think.
Sure. Weather's a big thing. You're right there. Yeah. Weather, definitely weather. Yeah.
He wants a huge party. Oh, you want a huge party when you die?
I want like a New Orleans funeral, I like the idea.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that's what we say.
It's just about like have a good time. Have a jam session in my honor, play my drums, whatever, goof around, have fun, tell stories.
Exactly. It's exactly what I want. And Alice would say there's a Trump interview in 10 minutes. Trump interview for 10 minutes. I don't even know where who's doing the interview. And I got to tell you, so early in the game, he keeps saying the same stuff over and over and over again. I love the guy, but seriously, I want to hear a new song. It's the same stuff. I was cheated. This is an unfair prosecution, blah, blah. Something new, Mr. President. I would appreciate that. Al already has a flag for his casket. Well, if you served in the military, they give you one already. I think they give you one, right? Yeah. So,
sure.
Okay. So 7 in 10 Americans would rather be buried in a cardboard box than have their family overspend on the funeral. 81% of Americans reported giving at least some thought to what their memorial service would be like someday. I'm the same. I don't even think there's going to be anything to bury because we donated everything. We're like, if you can take it, take it. If you can use the lungs, take it. I don't care. If somebody else can benefit, go for it. Did not know you were on tonight. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:15 p.m. But you can go back, watching your back. You can go back and watch this from the beginning. We talked about fat men.
True.
But thank you for jumping in here. We do appreciate it. Al says mine's an 8-foot-long Confederate flag. Of course it is, Al. That's not a surprise.
No, it tracks.
So anyway, and then we're also I think we both have to check. We got to redo our living will again and our regular wills. We have to go back and redo them. But I was just like, well, they could use my body for science. If you want to cut my body up and use it to test out drugs or whatever, like if you can save somebody else's life, what am I going to do with it? It becomes worm food. What do I care? I'm not there. To me, it doesn't mean anything. It's just the shell, right? So if I could save somebody's life by some student somewhere can learn from cutting up my corpse, okay, that's great. Maybe who knows? It could be someone who comes up with the cure for cancer, and I had a small role in that. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of me to bury. But if there is, seriously, do not spend a lot of money. I don't want my husband to spend a lot of money if I die which I am dying first. I will myself to die. Like if he gets diagnosed with cancer, I swear to God, I'm going to will myself to die before him.
You're going to get a stage 4 brain tumor if he ends up with any cancer. You're like, I'll beat that. I got this covered. Don't you worry.
I'm going to go downstairs and suck on asbestos. So this house is built in 1881. I could literally sit here and have a bowl of lead paint. Okay.
It's a good way to get there fast.
I'll chew on the windowsills. I'll go.
I was radiation treatments. Munched on my own paint.
So I don't want him throwing money into the ground. It's just such a waste of time. I would so much rather do what you did. I have to get buried in the Catholic Church. Sorry, that's my thing. It's my last sacrament that I can get. So I want a mass. I want my mass, but I want Black gospel choir. I do not want it to be depressing because you know what? I'm in a better place than the rest of you. Ha, suck it. That's the way I truly feel.
Walter, Mary, Walter, she is gone. She is gone. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm
in a better place than you. Do-da, do-da. Yeah. I'm in a better place than you and don't have to pay taxes. Woo!
Yeah, totally. I was thinking of something like, that's funny, you had the choir, and I thought of the New Orleans band. You know, the street band? You know?
Yeah. I want the Black choir. I want the Black gospel choir. I want them to rock it out. I want it to be a celebration that I'm done with this crap. I don't have to pay taxes. I'm finished. But I want him to have a party. Like have a party. Celebrate my life instead of mourning my death. Like just celebrate the fact that, you were lucky enough to know me.
Yeah. 100%. I've lined up the same thing, and I've said, those are my desires, right? I'd like to be, food for the earth and a big party. But in the end, in all honesty, I want them to do what's going to make them comfortable and happy too, right? Like I'm not going to write in a will that you have to do this. I just hope you abide by my wishes. But in the end, I want them to make their grief better, right? So,
right.
I'm not going to haunt them if they don't have a party. I just hope they do.
Oh, I told my husband there's so many things I so will haunt him, and he knows that I am tenacious and vindictive enough to absolutely do it. All right. I always wanted to be cremated. Last chance for a smoking hot body. I don't think Catholics can be cremated, can they? I don't know.
I think they can.
Yeah, I think maybe they changed that. Originally you couldn't, but I think they can now. Tina, I don't want any of my organs or anything people can use. Yes, exactly. I also want my body donated because I'm nuts. They could benefit from my brain. See? Right? Like if you think that, I think that that's wonderful. My grandmother. So I remember when the Catholic Church, for the longest time, you weren't allowed to donate organs or anything like that. And then they changed it in the Catholic Church, like in the 70s. And I remember my mother talking to my grandmother, and she's asked my grandmother, she said, well, were you going to donate your eyes? Because we got donor cards at church. And my grandmother said, no. And I'm like, well, Grandma, why wouldn't you donate your eyes so that somebody else could see? And she looks at me dead serious and goes, well, what if I get up there and I can't see? And my mother just, and I remember I was thinking about it, and I just looked at her, I go, I don't think God works that way.
Right, yeah.
Al, my stepdaughter was on the organ recovery team, and family of people who donated organs get so little back. What's back, you could bury in a shoebox. That's okay. That's okay. I don't want anything back. What am I going to do with it? Like, now what? Now I got to pay to have this buried because you just can't bury it in the backyard. Oh, they're onto you for that. You're not even supposed to bury pets in your backyard in Jersey. But I think every yard in the state of I think every yard in the state of New Jersey has a dead pet in it somewhere. But who wants a box? Why would I want anything back? What am I going to do with it? Do I have to move you around?
I certainly don't want to be like a mausoleum in my parents' garage. I can tell you that. I knew somebody who did that with their pets. That's why you said pets.
Ew.
Yeah, they had their pets in a thing in their garage.
Huh.
Yeah, sit on that one for a while. Go ahead.
Joe on Getter says the difference between an Irish wedding and an Irish funeral, one less drunk. But they do it right.
Yeah,
they do it right. So
yeah.
you talk about cremation. So a friend of mine, he was visiting us and we rented a shore place. Were you ever there? I don't know if you, I don't think I knew you yet. So I don't think you were ever there. We rented this place in Manasquan and it was above right. It was right on the beach. But anyway, so he comes to visit us and we're sitting in the back and he's talking, his grandmother died, blah, 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 blah. And how weird it is because on the way there, they had to stop at his brother's to get his share of grandma's ashes. They divvied the ashes up. And I'm like, well, where is it now? And he goes, oh, she's in the glove compartment. I'm like, what? And he goes downstairs and comes up with a baggie. I kid you not, a baggie with ashes in it. Like, he's like, yeah, this is grandma. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's kind of weird.
That's a little out there. Yeah. It's not in an urn or not even like in a special velvet pillowcase with the baggie inside the pillowcase or something. No, just a baggie like it's weed in your glove compartment.
And she's in the glove compartment. And that's the other thing. I think most people who are cremated, I mean, like if you divvy up the ashes, and then I don't want to be responsible for having to lug the IT department's ashes all over the place. You know what I mean? Like if I move, I got to lug the IT department's ashes. And then what happens to them? We don't have kids, but do my nieces want Uncle Doug's ashes? I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
Oh, wait, more importantly, 25% maybe of Uncle Doug's ashes.
Right. Well, no, I'm the only one who got. No, they'd have to divvy it up. Like who would do that?
Say, like who? Look. I've heard of people carrying the ashes around. I've heard of people like I keep it for so long. I've never heard of anybody divvying the ashes up, bagging them out, and then taking them away.
Distribute them. Yeah. Well, it could be like my brother when he dumped off a truckload of my parents' stuff in my driveway.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It would be the same thing with the ashes. My ashes, knowing my family, like one of the nieces would have it, and then she would like put it in a box and give it to one of her sisters for Christmas. And Aunt Mary just keeps getting passed all over the place as the family joke. Right.
Right.
Right. They're like, no gift backs. You got Aunt Mary.
They just paint a face on your urn, and they're passing it around. Yeah.
Exactly. With my urn, they take it on trips.
Yeah, totally. And the baggage handlers are like, what the?
My aunt. Bill, I've thought about cremation and put me in a nook. Too much money is spent to be buried in a fancy box, a waste of money, 100%.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay, we totally lost the thread of this story. Okay, The poll was conducted on behalf of Titan Casket. 77% of Americans have helped to plan funerals, more funerals than they've helped plan weddings. And that kind of makes sense, I guess, because the bride's family is really the one that plans the wedding. Whereas when it comes to a funeral, usually it's like a family event. So I get that. I've never planned a funeral. I've never been involved in that. And again, dying first, so I don't plan on being involved. Let's see. 59% of all respondents want to actively participate in planning their own funeral service, and 11% have already started. I get it. I want a little control. And as my husband would tell you, it's because I'm a control freak. So of course I want to have the last say. They say somewhere between 50 and 100 attendees is average. Twice as many prefer a massive ceremony to an intimate one. Of course, because you're full of yourself.
I want you all crying over me.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm not like that. Like, I don't care if anybody I would be totally cool if the IT department decides to just do nothing, just have my mass, gospel choir, and see you later. I'm not there. What do I care? What do I care who shows up? What do I care if it's a big turnout?
You're gone, yeah.
Al, I chose cremation because I fear being buried alive. No, I don't want to be smoked to death either, dude. When I was a kid, I used to have nightmares of being buried alive. You might want to talk to somebody about that.
In fairness, I've had fears of drowning in the ocean, being left by a boat when I'm diving sometimes, kind of like that open water movie. But I still go in the ocean.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go in a casket in the ground, but I'm pretty much sure that in today's day and age, like you see those stories that people get buried alive come out of like India. You know what I mean? When there's somebody knocking on the door of the mausoleum or the funeral home, the cooler, the free, and they take him out and they're like, dude, I was freezing. And they're like, wow, that doesn't usually happen here.
Yeah, no, that's not common.
Tina, I'm going with the party. I'm going with the party, James. Catholics can get cremated. Good to know. Thank you, Bill. It's important for some people for foreclosure. I think he means foreclosure. Foreclosure. Yes. Jerry, if there's a lot of grandchildren, they could just use the 35mm film canisters. You remember those little film canisters?
Totally. Oh yeah.
You know, we used to keep, Jerry, and you understand this too. We used to keep Parkway tokens in them.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
back in the day on the Garden State Parkway, you could buy the tokens, and you had the
Mhm.
tokens, and we used to flip them over the side of the car and never slow down going through the toll. Just flip them over the top and throw it in. That's hilarious. And there's a whole group of people younger than us who have no idea what we're talking about.
What's
Tina probably has-
35mm film?
I bet you Ringo has no clue. Al, there is a business that will press the ashes under pressure and turn it into a diamond. Would you do that? Like, would you wear a diamond made out of grandpa? Like, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I turned into like happening grandpa bling, put it in my hat.
Oh, that's a beautiful diamond. Yeah, it's Charlie. Wait, what?
That's a human diamond, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. My grandma, who just passed away, didn't really want anything. She said it's just a bag of bones. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's for the camera film. Yes, it is. Kodak. Yes. So, okay. All right. What else is about here? Respondents guess that the average funeral costs around $5,800, but that's almost half of the amount for the service. Actual costs are anywhere between $7,000 and $12,000.
Oh. You really
My friend's
put me in the backyard.
My friend's mother was buried in, I kid you not, a pink cask with roses that were painted on it.
That was expensive.
They wheeled that puppy down the aisle of St. Bernadette's, and I was like, that's something you don't see every day. Right?
Yeah.
It was special order. Right? She's like, it's special order. I'm like, I'm sure it was.
It's a baller casket.
Yeah. You get a full price lift up front. Most 31% want their funeral as cheap as possible. And a lot of people apparently prepay for and reserve a casket ahead of time to save money. You used to be able to, and I don't know if you could do it anymore, but you used to be able to get a casket at Costco.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, casket.
A Costco casket?
Yes,
Really?
you can get caskets from Costco. They have a whole funeral section, urns and caskets. The $1,100 the President by Prime casket, the Lord's Prayer casket for all, which is white, the Franklin Blue, the Prime Rose, which is white with pink on the inside, the Titan Military Select Steel Funeral Casket. It will run you $1,600. It's black and gold. It's very pretty. Yeah, and then they have urns as well. You can buy on Costco and just keep it, bring your own, I guess, to the funeral home.
That's so crazy. You can go to Costco and be like, I need a 40-pound thing of lobster. And then, actually, I got to get the 20-pack of Advil, a casket, 4 caskets, 4 urns. I mean, Costco?
Yep, but if they deliver it to your home, you can't just pick it up at the store. You have to. It's online.
You can't wheel it out on that big cart.
Online only.
Okay, good. Probably wise.
Okay. One last thing about death. Are you ready? A zombie apocalypse. I have a zombie apocalypse story.
Lay it
which
on
I
me.
think is fun. All right. A new survey finds that Americans are actually prepping for the day when their streets are full of zombies. 1 in 4, a quarter of Americans don't think it is unusual to prepare for a real-life zombie apocalypse.
Do those people vote? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
Is there a tie-in question with that?
My friend John says sometimes it's all about ego or what others will think of the family that makes people go crazy over the planning. That's so true.
Yeah.
I stopped caring what people thought about me in like 8th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, my bag of give a F's has been empty for like several years now.
It is pretty empty. Yeah, it's true.
You know me, and I'm like,
I know. I'm
well.
I'm
just like, okay, oh well.
I like
okay.
your jib. Okay. Okay.
Oh well.
See you later.
Jim's very upset.
That's right.
Okay. They found that more than 1 in 10 people have stockpiled food just in case zombies become a real thing. 58% of respondents think a zombie apocalypse will occur within the next 30 years.
Because
I don't know.
I love
go ahead.
I can't even imagine how you got to that conclusion. I mean, at least I understand. I mean, I think they're crazy, but I understand flat earthers, but I don't understand people who think zombies are coming.
Shaun of the Dead, I have to say, is one of my favorite movies. Have you seen
That's
Shaun
good,
of
yeah.
the Dead? It's the best movie. I love that movie. It's got a great soundtrack too. 12%, another 12% think that such a catastrophe will take place over a century from now, and 11% think zombies already exist. They say that they also believe that the nation's most populated states will be the most likely zombie ape breakout hotspots, with California topping the list, followed by Florida, New York, Texas, and Georgia as the top 5 states that people think a zombie apocalypse will break out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
to find out which states would be your best bet to survive a zombie apocalypse, researchers analyzed more than 1,200 Google search terms related to preparing for a zombie apocalypse. And then they compared those search results to each state's population. So Americans in Wyoming appear to have zombies on the mind. The equality state, which is Wyoming, I didn't know they were the equality state, ranks number 1 in the terms of being most prepared for an oncoming zombie invasion. Now, I think that's because people in Wyoming are probably much more likely to be preppers, period.
Right.
It's the least populated state. Honestly, I would love to live there if it wasn't mostly desert. I don't do desert. I don't like tumbleweeds. I just think desert's ugly. I don't like the dryness of it. I don't dust everywhere. That's the only reason I love Western Wyoming, which is where the mountains are, but that is all national park. You can't live there. So they frown on people living in Yellowstone. So you can't live there. Maybe like Cody, but Cody's right on the edge. Okay. Also, if you want to live a little bit more remote than that, Alaska is number 2 on the list. But again, it makes sense, right?
Oh, totally. They're prep-oriented people, yeah. They're people used to living off the land, that sort of mentality.
I live near Fort Detrick, so if it starts, I'm screwed. I don't know where that is. Where is that? Fort Detrick. Fort Detrick. Let's see where that is. It's in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. So Alaska's number 2, then Vermont, North Dakota, and South Dakota, the top 5 most prepared states in the nation, which apparently Mount Rushmore is a great place. If you like snow, Mount Rushmore is a good place. But I'm surprised at Vermont being number 3. That's kind of weird. That seems to be an outlier to me.
There's some remote parts of Vermont, though.
Yeah, but by the preppers, you know what I mean?
I would have thought New Hampshire more than Vermont.
Yeah, they just don't strike me. Vermont's where Bernie Sanders is from. He doesn't strike me as overly prepared.
Yeah, it's fish fans. They're real prepared for concerts, but probably not for...
Yeah, not much else. Ringo, James will be all right. He doesn't have much of a brain.
Not wrong.
Oh, that's where biodiseases are dealt with at Fort Detrick. Gotcha. Okay. If you live in a big city, you're more likely to be overrun by zombies. Sure. California is the least prepared for a zombie invasion, followed by Texas, which is shocking. Florida, New York, and Pennsylvania. They are the bottom of the zombie preparedness list. Americans say their go-to zombie killing weapon is a shotgun. Also, handguns, baseball bats, machetes, and crossbows. This is why they don't want us to be armed anymore, because only the elites then will survive the zombie apocalypse.
Sure, because they're very good with guns.
But their paid security are.
Yeah, paid security are, right, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
As long as security doesn't turn on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, other Americans also chose, coming in at the bottom, swords, axes, knives, and grenades. Which I'm not quite sure where you go. You go to your local 7-Eleven and pick up a bunch of grenades. Should
That's my thought too, yeah.
Start. 53% of Americans think they have what it takes to kill a zombie. They think that they could claim, on average, they could kill 39 zombies a day. Okay. It turns out Americans think that The Walking Dead offers the most realistic portrayal of real life zombie apocalypse. And that's where they learn how to handle zombies, by watching The Walking Dead.
So I'll go with that on one level, right? I don't think it's because you learn how to kill zombies. But if anybody has ever watched, and I've used this as a reference before, watch The Walking Dead, what you learn is any kind of post-apocalyptic world is horrific. And people like the elites are the first people that either get eaten or killed, right? They're the first
I like that.
Your security turns on you. The world goes upside down. Money becomes meaningless, right? The world just falls apart.
Right.
And whether it's zombies or nuclear winter or any of that stuff, I've really just learned that I'm running toward it. So I don't want to survive it. I'll just jump into a pile of zombies and be eaten, or run right toward the pretty cloud as it blows up and eviscerates me. I don't want to be anywhere where I have to survive that nonsense. I like my computer. Turns out I like my average life with electricity and running water and food. So good luck with that.
Yeah. I also think, like, if there's ever a nuclear war, they're going to go to New York, and I could pretty much see the New York City skyline if I drive down the street 5 miles. So I'm good. And I don't want to just get radiation sickness. I want to just go. No. So I want to be like just vaporized. Boom. Right, we'll never know what hit me. Boom. It'll be over and done with. The other thing I worry about more so than zombies is when the volcano under Yellowstone explodes.
Oh, super volcano, done. We're done.
Yeah, when the day we buy property in Montana, that's when the clock starts to tick down. That's when it's gonna blow. That's exactly when it's gonna blow.
I am my dream home in 2 weeks to live. Great.
So people watch The Walking Dead. They say that best prepares you. The next one they say should be 28 Days Later, World War Z, and I Am Legend.
Okay.
Yeah. Between March of 2019 and March of 2021, the researchers found that there was a 2,082% increase in Google searches about preparing for the zombie apocalypse. Hilarious. All right.
We're doomed.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh, me too.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I know Al's probably already gone. He wanted to go watch The President. Don't forget, Thursday, the show will be live from Florida with my crazy neighbors. And James, if you want to join us, I have no problem with that. If you want to do that, we'll probably be drinking and I don't know.
Cheers.
I'm nervous about doing it at the hot tub just because balancing a laptop at the edge of the hot tub.
Yes. After some drinking.
Wait, hold on. The IT department's yelling. What? I just heard from upstairs in the back of the house. That's why you have an IT department. He's going to make it happen, apparently. I don't know. I think the lure of the hot tub and a beer is just too much for him. Al, my loyalty knows no bounds. Aw, thank you, Al. We appreciate you so much. And you should follow Al on True Social. He makes some great posts. He's got some really great points. Some a little crazy. I'm kidding. But no, Al's fantastic. So, all right, we're out of here. I will see you Thursday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch on Getter and YouTube Live. And of course, we download the audio. I will do that. Try to do it as soon as I get off the air onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All right. So do that. Have a great day at work tomorrow. Appreciate you making it. All right.
Anytime.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We really, really would appreciate it if you did that. Okay. Thank you so much and have a good Wednesday. Bye.